Hi guys, welcome to my video, and as promised, I'll be doing a tech profile video for one of the newest red line introduced in DPT09, which is Unica. And as usual, my deck list is basically a skeleton for most people. It's just how I feel comfortable on playing. Of course, if you don't feel comfortable with it or you like the list, but you want to make a few changes, go ahead. It's fine. It's best to like adjust a deck to how your preference more. Start off, we have the Grade 0 Manchester starter as our starter. Of course, you can play with the crit as a starter instead for the quote-unquote crit consistency, but I find that the one draw is usually more important than having a crit consistency, and sometimes you may or may not trigger that crit early game. When you put it in your hand, then you can use the guard to put in the drop. I find that they'll be much more useful than having like a guaranteed, because sometimes you might even you have guaranteed one, you might not guarantee like the other two or even another one. So the one draw will be more important. I mean, since it is a similar situation compared to the Trickstar or Sunrise Egg starter situation back then, but we all know what happened. Sunrise Egg is much better as a starter than Trickstar. For grade 1, it is the Manchester grade 1, Shorto Sparta. Although when this unit is returned upon by the grade 2, which is Manchester Duran Dyna, Soul Charge 2. If a critical trigger was Soul Charge, draw 1. Act rear once per turn. If opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, bind a trigger unit from your soul. For this turn, this unit gets plus 10k. For this effect, it's actually really good since it does fill your soul a little bit, and try to be a gacha for your critical trigger or your any trigger unit that you need in soul for Unica's effect. And the second effect, which is really quite strong, but I don't really use it most of the time since usually I will only have about 2 to 3 triggers in soul. If on a good turn or good hand, about 5 to 6, but usually it's about 3 to 4. So you can use it the skill when your boss grade 3 for like a bigger boost, or even as a beat stick, as a 18k beat stick, which does hit for magic number. So yeah. Next, for the grade 2, which is Duran Dyna. Although when this unit is written upon by a unit with Astrola in its name, choose a grade 1, which is Sparta, and discards and call to a real, which is basically a quote-unquote free plus. And then act to real once per turn. You have a Vanguard with Alma registered in its card name, CB1. Choose 2 trigger unit from your drop and put it in your soul. For this turn, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. It's a trigger recycler, which is good, and it does blast. And she's one of your main grade 2 rear guards, or one of your main rear guards, since again for the acts recycle trigger in your soul. And then for our main one, of course our main grade 3, which is Unica, Astro Unica. Auto Van, when a trigger unit is so blast for this unit's cost, choose one of your unit for this turn, it gets plus 5,000 power. Auto Van, when this unit attacks the Vanguard, so plus 3 for plus 3, and then bind all crits so blast by this effect, so blast for the cost by this effect, and then activates the following effect according to the number of crits triggered in your bind zone. 1 or more, choose one opponent's rear guard and retire. 2 or more, for this battle, this unit gets crit plus 1. 3 or more, for this battle, this unit gets drive plus 1. It is a very high roll deck. It is a quote-unquote trigger and soul reliant deck, but it is it's still very strong since it retires 1, crit pressure and triple drive pressuring. And not only that, the first effect is similar to Hexor, where as I will try to check a trigger, you soul blast a trigger, giving something 5k. But the difference between her and Hexor is the fact that Hexor is only choose rear guard, while Unica chooses any units including herself. So if you don't want to call rear, or you don't have any rear, all you have is Unica, you can actually use attack, soul blast 5, so you soul blast 3 triggers, and then give all 15k into her if you want to, instead of giving the bad roll if just in case you don't have booster or you don't want a booster to boost a Vanguard. But most of the time you do have a booster in your Vanguard, a very good booster as well. That's for our right deck. And next for our main deck, we play of course 3 of personal right, because we do want a personal right most of the time. Next, I do play 1 Potus. You can run 2 recall, you can remove Potus if you want to, but let's play 1 because Potus is actually quite decent in Unica as well. Since the first effect is auto rear. If your card cost were to be soul plus 2 or more at the same time, for this turn plus 5k. If it's 3 or more at the same time, then CB1, choose a card from your drop zone, put it into your soul, and then choose one of the bonus rear guard with the same grade as the card put into soul and retire it. It's basically a instant 18k just by having soul blasting 3 with Unica without powering out anything. But if you do use a CB, you can refresh a trigger unit into put it inside your soul to refresh, or alternatively if there's something annoying to get rid of, you can put in the same grade and then kill it off. And it's a grade 3, we don't play that much grade 3, but usually grade 2, grade 1 we can kill it off. And against decks that uses tokens like Grand Fear or Grand Fear, Office, Loloa, you can put, which you do profit more because you can put a trigger units which are usually grade 0, and then you can just retire the tokens to kill them off. Again, 1 copy of it, it doesn't really do much sometimes, since it's a grade 3, there's no shield, but having the 1 copy of it is quite useful to refresh and retire all the. That's only an 18k beat stick. That's it for grade 3. Next, for grade 2, we do play 4 Kidsburg Griffin. Skill auto, when this unit is placed on rear, if a Vanguard with Majestic in its card name, choose 2 trigger unit from your drop and put into your soul. Continuous rear and guidance circle. If there's a critical trigger in your buying zone, this unit get plus 5000 power and 5000 shield. This is a guaranteed 4 off because again, trigger recycler similar to Dyna, but it's on place, but it's also a 15k beat stick and a 10k shield, and we all know shield is quite important. And you have to play 4 of it because shield, 15k beat stick, and on place recycle 2. And we do want as much recycling cards here as possible, and it's basically free instead of having CB1. So next for lineup is 2 Hurangan Manticore. It has very simple effect, a pretty simple but strong power and powerful effect, which is continuous rear. During your turn, if there's 2 or more trigger unit in your buying zone, this unit get plus 10,000 power. Simple 20k beat stick, nothing else, really strong. You can play 4, you can play 2, but I find 3 is a decent number for it. Next is more of a card that you may or may not want to play. It's you can remove it, you can play it, which is Clean Sweeper Dragon. You can I do play 3 off because it's very strong. It has a very strong removal effect. Active rear once per turn. During the turn that you personal right CB1, choose a total of 3 rear guards from you or opponents and put them into your opponent's soul. And for each card put into soul by this effect, for this turn, this unit gets plus 5k power. During personal rating turn, it's literally just a plus 15k, making it 25k, but again, personal rating turn, 35k out of nowhere, and it removes 3 things from your opponent's field. Or alternatively, you can put a trigger from your field to your soul if you want to do that. But usually you want to remove it, since Eva has obscurity can be removed, can be retired, but it can be moved to soul. So yeah, it's why it's fucking good, and it also does remove 3 things at once. And with Unica, you can actually remove 4 if almost a full field, and if you have Botus, you can actually remove 5, and that's only cost you 2 CB. Good, right? But again, you do have the personal right during the turn, which sometimes you may or may not have a personal riding you may not be able to personal right since you might not have, again, able to personal right, or you don't have this kind of hand. That's why I feel that you can remove Clean Sweeper out, or you can play less copy of it, like 2 off, and then you may increase both this into 2, or you can increase other cards such as Minicord into 4 as well. So for now, I say 3 is a decent number, but I may or may not decrease it into 2 because sometimes I see too much and I don't see him, so it's kind of like a controversial opinion. Next, or last grade 2, which will be 2 of Dyna. No explanation needed, just for the second skill, that's it. For grade 1, of course, for PGs, no hard element assistant 2 because my copy of left assistant 2 is obviously for my EVA. So, set up about the regular PGs. Then for grade 1, we do play 3 Iron Capricornus. Really good cards. Auto Real, when this unit boosts, you have a Vanguard with Armageddon in card name. Choose a trigger unit from your hand or drop and put it into your soul. If put from hand, draw 1. Most deck plays 4, but I play 3 due to, again, you can reduce Clean Sweeper to play 4, or alternatively remove this to play 4. Because it's a really good card since it refreshes trigger into your soul from a drop, or in with hand cycle as well. But usually I don't hand cycle since I rather keep the trigger as a guard and rather put the trigger from my drop into soul instead, since it is a quote unquote a strategy, I guess, which is if you only have 2 trigger from soul in your soul, you could actually swing boost time 1 time 2. You will activate this first to put a trigger from drop into soul, and then soul plus 3, and you get soul plus 3 triggers. Alternatively, soul plus 3 trigger for Unica 1 2, and then activates to put a card that you soul blast and put it underneath, put it into your soul. So yeah, this is a really strong card as well. You can play 4, but I think 3 is a decent number. Again, both these can be removed, or remove 1 Clean Sweeper if you want to. Next, we are to play 3 in Hill Pit. The skill is Act Real once per turn. You may soul blast 1 grade 1 or higher. Choose 2 grade 0 from your drop and put in your soul. Obviously, your triggers are grade 0, so inbuilt hit automatically in. Of course, you can play 2, or you can play 3, or you can play 4 as well. You can play any number that you want, it's just how you feel. I feel like 3 is a decent number, similar to Iron. Again, you can both this or Clean Sweeper, move out to play more, or you can play less if you want to as well. Then we do play 2 copies of Lin. The skill is Act Auto. When this unit is placed on rear, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose 1 and put it into your soul, and the remaining into the bottom of your deck. She's kind of a gacha choice. You can best play and top 2 and maybe hope you can put a trigger or maybe a crit into your soul. Yeah, usually I do play an early game or even late game where I could really want to gacha that one soul. Or sometimes if you set out already and you have decent amount of soul, you can actually play Lin and you just top 2 cards, and then if you see see something that you don't want, you can put it inside to filter out your deck for your triggers to sack. You can play again, you can play 3 or you can play 4, but I say 2 is a decent number for now. Next is quite a controversial pick which I don't think many uses, which is Daifudo Simon. Effect is Auto Real. When this unit is boost, if you have 5 or more cards in your soul, counter blast 1. For this battle, if opponent were to call cards from their hand to Guardian Circle, they have to call 2 or more at the same time. You see the correlation with, or the pressure with Unica. Since the chances of you getting 5 or more soul is quite high, since it's hard for you to get less than 5 soul in the deck. So you'll get Shimon boost again, activate 1, activate 2, or time 1, time 2. Activate Simon first to CB1 so that you can, so that the the other door effect will be active, and then you Unica to Soul Tree, and yeah. It kind of opponents high chance opponents are going to PG or Unica since it is 2 crit and triple drive. So having Simon, we're just telling them drop more cards to guard, like drop 30k or drop 35k to guard all you want to PG, but potentially drop 3 cards to PG unless they have LM Death Institutes. But if you're sure they don't, then but you know they have a PG, that means they have to drop more, they have to drop 3 cards just to PG it. Or force him to just guard with more triggers in the hand. That's why Simon is too off because you don't really want to see her that much, since it's more like a finisher when your opponent's around 4 to 5 damage. Around there. Again, you can remove Portis or 1 clean sweeper to play 1 more copy, or maybe 4 copies, but I say 2 to 3 is a decent number. Yeah. Next, for true lineup, we play 3 fronts because we do want to make our column bigger, and technically shield is quite valuable. And playing draw has to make us deck out faster. We do for heals, we do play 2 vanilla heal, one of the new great heals, great counter heal, which is only 20k shield, and the crit increasing heal. Because sometimes there's quite a lot of decks, AK just Eva has like more like crit gaining skill more than the resending, so it's more useful to have this instead. And then for the Dragon Tree lineup or for the early aggro rush, your bonus are gonna do if you go second. It'll be a decent 20k shield, but usually use it when you're going second, or if not late game, 10k shield. It's quite helpful. Then 2 vanilla heals. Of course, you playing Unica, you're playing 8 crits, nothing else, and our overtrigger will be the Obaria / Obaria clone or anything that you want. This specific one is the Vanguard 2022. The reason why I'm playing this over the Dark State one is because I feel this is more pressuring compared to the Dark State one, since Dark State is giving your Vanguard just make it extra power and crit, but your Vanguard itself is really quite pressuring, where most of the time you're gonna PG or just usually 2 to pass or no pass. So having this particular Obaria / generic elemental OT I feel it's more pressuring, since you're giving 2 things to your rear guard, 100 million, or giving like 100 million. I find it's much better compared to Dark State ones. Of course, you guys have been like watching or looking for Unica tier list. Almost every single deck list, almost every single Unica plays 4 copies of Gungun Ram. But I do not play the Gungun Ram. 1, the price tag. 2, I don't find that the Soul Blast 3 draw 1 just to put your trigger back into your soul is that helpful or that really strong. Yes, it is a 1 draw, but sometimes that 1 draw could be a trigger unit that you could sack, since this deck do not blind soul charge that much, nor does it shuffle the deck. So if you do Gungun Ram, Soul Blast 3 to draw 1, yes, sure, it is +1 in your hand. But then again, if it's a trigger unit, you can sack it and put it in your hand as well. It doesn't really matter. Plus, you do deck out quite a bit just by playing it, since Unica will be triple driving, and then you still at the same time drawing more from Gungun Ram. Yeah, you might have end size, which this deck does kind of not have, depending on the matchup or how your opponent play against you. Sometimes the hands, sometimes they may not have hands, but having the Gungun Ram build, you do have hands most of the time, but you do take up much faster compared to other build. This build I have never deck out yet, nor am I close to deck out. Usually I kill my opponent before that, or I die before that. So yeah, but if you do want to play Gungun Ram, it's quite easy. You just remove Simon, Lin, obviously Portis, and then play more Iram, etc. Of course, but if you don't want to play Gungun Ram, of course you can play this, or alternatively you can play other cards, of course, such as play more Clean Sweeper, or more Bordis, or more Simon. You can play main deck Sparta if you want to, since it is a regular skill and it's quite strong regular skill, but I find that having the 1 in right deck guarantee is not bad. Of course, you can play the 3 huge, or you can play the new Great Heal, since Dragon 3 is quite popular right now, but I say you can just play 1/1/2 or Small Diner, or you can play Modern Mythical, but this is another card that you can consider, which is the Great 3 called Ronic Kerberos. The effect is literally just a copy paste from Diner. Which is literally just CB1, choose your Vanguard is an Almajester, puts 2 trigger unit from your drop into your soul, and plus 5k, which is 80k beat stick. You can run him, like you can run him over Clean Sweeper if you want to. If you want to play more like a recycling deck, but it does make the deck a bit more CB heavy. Since you don't want to CB from Dyna, or you also want to CB from Runic. Okay, not really like CB heavy, just 2 even CB, but I don't think he's that useful, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, it is a choice since one of the winning deck lists do play Runic over Clean Sweeper, but I think Clean Sweeper is fine for now. I may or may not be removing it or decreasing it, but I say it's a fine for the deck. Again, it's only if someone buying off me, but for now, me still gonna be testing around today's deck build list. So yeah, it's a skeleton, not just for everyone watching the video, but also for me, since I do want to change up some of the ratios as well or go on the way. So yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. And so yeah, bye.